Okay guys, welcome to our third lab, projectile motion. I believe this one will be pretty easy for you because like many other concept has been taught during the lecture by Dr. Smith. So we're just going to implement the concept you learned during the lecture to analyze the motion in this lab. So today we're going to use the same software, which is called Dartfish. And I believe you guys are pretty familiar with this software. So today we have 3 exercises. And each exercise will consist of one activity which involves the motion of the ball, and the motion will be a projectile motion. So the first exercise is a football punt, second exercise is a soccer throw-in, and the third one is a golf chip shot. And for a projectile motion, there are 3 important factors that will give you everything you need. So that's what we're trying to get from Dartfish, which are initial velocity. So that's the velocity when the ball leaves the hand or the foot. And also the second one will be the projection angle, which is the theta here. And the third one will be the projection height, which is the height from the height of the release of the ball to the ground. So just gonna show you several screenshots of Dartfish, and we're going to talk about how we get those variables later. So for example, in this football punt, we can get the projection angle here and projection height here. How do we get initial velocity? We use the distance divided by time, and we'll talk about it later. So this is for golf punt, and this is a screenshot for soccer throw-in. So as well, we got projection angle, projection height, and use the distance and time to calculate initial velocity. And also this one, we're going to track the trajectory of the ball to get a height of the apex. And the third one, golf chip shot, as well, we got angle, and there's no projection height in this case, and the distance and time to calculate initial velocity. So those are the screenshots for those 3 variables. And actually, all the needed variables are already collected by me. You just need to use those numbers to calculate what you're asked to calculate. So the questions for each exercise are pretty similar. For example, the first one will ask you to use your knowledge of trigonometry to break initial velocity into its horizontal and vertical components. And yeah, we're going to use sine and cosine. And also calculate the time of flight, calculate the range, and also the height of the soccer ball at its apex. So those are typical questions for each exercise, and equations will be provided later. So you're going to use those equations and those numbers to calculate and answer the questions. And I think the lecture, like the video Dr. Smith provide, is pretty useful. So if you haven't watched it, please go back to module 2 and watch the video, which will be pretty helpful for you to complete the assignment. So those are the equations you're going to need and to use to answer the questions. So here we got a time of flight, which is a total interval when the ball is in the air. And also range, which is like how far the ball can travel, and also the maximum height. I know those equations looks pretty complicated, pretty disgusting, but I'll explain how those equations comes from in later videos, so don't worry about it. So yeah, that's about it, and we'll talk about some basic concepts in the next video.